You've been told consistency is the key to longevity, but if you define consistency as doing the same exact thing every day over and over, you're actually training your body to decline because your brain does not reward repetition, it adapts to it. And once it adapts to it, it starts doing less effort, less range, less output. And that's because that's how the brain becomes more efficient, and that's what it's supposed to do, using less energy. So all of that happens not at once, but slowly, until one day you kind of feel the workouts feel harder, recovery feels a little slower, and your body feels less responsive. And you just start thinking, well, maybe that's aging. But it's not. It's your system losing adaptability because it's been trained to expect the same input over and over again. And here's what most people don't realize. Longevity doesn't kind of break and stops all of a sudden. It kind of slowly shifts through small repeated patterns that your brain no longer needs to pay attention to. And if you really, truly want to change how your body feels, moves, and performs over time, you don't need more discipline, you need a different approach. And that's what we're going to explore today. Welcome, I'm Heike Fallon. I'm the founder of Expand Health and the creator of the NeuroHP method. And I combine neuroscience, sports therapy, and personal performance coaching to help leaders, athletes, active people like you optimize their health, personal performance for longevity. And it's really about living longer with more fun, right? In over 30 years, I've studied the connection between the brain, the body, and it's fascinating how we really need to think of more from a brain-based perspective in order to achieve longevity and understand how the brain functions. Before we go into the topic, please make sure you download my free PDF. It's in the description. Check it out and work with it. And we're going to dive in. So the biggest misunderstanding around longevity is not what to do. It's how we think about it. Most people approach longevity kind of like a project, right? Something to optimize, to perfect, to control. And they look at the right system and the perfect routine and the ideal plan, the one kind of thing that does it. And it makes sense because in most areas of life, structure works. You apply it, the right strategy, the one strategy, and you get a predictable outcome. But your body and your brain don't work like that, which makes it actually kind of more fun. They are not machines that respond to the same way every single time. They are adaptive systems, and adaptive systems don't thrive on repetition alone. They actually thrive on variation, context, and feedback. And that's where the big shift lies. Longevity is not about installing one perfect system, it's about developing a responsive one. Knowing this now, your focus is not what am I doing? Your focus becomes how is my system responding to what I'm doing? And that question is really where longevity begins. So let me give you a real example. So think about two people. They both go to the gym 3 times a week. They both follow a structured program. They both eat well. They both sleep. Let's say that's all the same on paper, right? They look pretty identical. But 5 years later, one of them feels stronger, more capable, more confident, and the other one feels kind of tired, fatigued, limited. And they technically gave them the same inputs as far as repetitions and all that, but got different outcomes. Why? Because one of them was paying attention and adjusting and fine-tuning the program along the way. The other one was repeating the same thing every time. And I see clients all the time. They come to me, they've been doing the same workout routine in their gym for 10, 20 years even. And that seems like, it's not a big difference, but it is. And the reason why people really miss this is because it doesn't happen dramatically all at once. It's kind of slowly, small little changes that are, coming on, you recover a little slower, you feel a little tighter, you avoid certain movements, you start modifying things without realizing it. And over time, those small adjustments become your new baseline. And that's how longevity is lost. Not through one big event, but through gradual narrowing of what your system is doing or willing to do. And here's where neuroscience matters. Your brain is constantly predicting and what you can handle, and it's not just waiting for failure, it's trying to prevent it. So if your inputs, your daily experiences, your movement patterns, your stress level all become predictable, your brain reduces its expectation and it says, well, it's enough, right? We don't need more. It feels safe. I don't really need to change anything. And that's the moment where your capacity stops expanding and you slowly start shrinking in your ability, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your system no longer sees a reason to grow. And this is where interoception becomes critical. Interoception is your brain's ability to sense what's happening inside your body. It's how your brain knows if you have energy, if you feel fatigue, if something feels off. But here's the key. Interoception is not objective. It's interpreted. Your brain filters those signals based on past experiences, stress level, beliefs, context. And so if your system is under constant pressure, your brain becomes more conservative. It starts interpreting neural signals as potential risk. And that changes everything because now efforts feel harder, movements feel less stable, recovery feels slower, not because your body changed overnight, but because your brain changed how it evaluates what you can handle. And this is why you can have days where everything feels easy, and there can be days where nothing feels right. Same body, different perception, different output. And that's not random. That's your system making a different decision. And if you don't understand that, you'll misinterpret what's happening. You'll think like, oh, I gotta have more discipline. I gotta push harder. I need better programs. I need that one perfect one. When in reality, what you really need is better inputs, better awareness, and better adjustments. So let's make that practical. I want you to stand up and we're gonna do a quick assessment. So if you watched my videos before, you know we're gonna assess and reassess after. So bring your arms out in front and you're gonna rotate slowly, keeping your feet on the ground. And then you're gonna look over your thumbs and see, have a mark or whatever you have. I have my map here on this side. Feel and see how far you can go. I have a bookcase there, so I know how far I rotate regarding my book, but keeping my feet on the ground. So that's my pre-assessment. What I like you to do now, you're going to just start walking in place. I also encourage you to do the same exercise, actually walking away, but then I wouldn't be on camera. So walk in place. And just now pay attention to your feet. Ideally, I'm on socks right now. I can feel the ground a little better. Ideally, you do this barefoot, but definitely take your shoes off. So just pay attention to how you're touching the ground, even if you have shoes on. Keep walking. And now we're going to turn a little bit. I'm going to turn my body a little bit, but I keep facing forward and feel how that changes things. Coming back. Rotating the other way. Notice how your feet contact the ground, how your heels touch. Obviously, walking in place, it's not as strong. If you walk forward, if you do it on a walk, you'll feel that a lot more. Feel if it's more the outside or inside of your sole that gets some weight. Good. Now I'm going to walk a little forward and back. And just kind of feel. Good. Now also at the same time, pay attention to what's around you, what's in your peripheral vision, what's ahead of you. Good. And stop. Now we're going to reassess. Good. I got more range of motion here. So if you got more range of motion, that was good input to you. Now we walked, so we got a little bit vestibular input as well. But really what's happening here too, we get different sensory input. And that's what matters. We're creating more better input to the brain, and that actually helps the brain to predict better. And so if you had more range of motion, this was a great exercise for you. If you had less range of motion, that means your brain responded with a threat. So you might want to do this walking slower, or you might want to do it, you can also do seated and just move your feet, for example. And if it was the same range of motion for you, then this was neither a tremendous input that your brain necessarily utilized, or it was really not, it was kind of neutral. So maybe not the one I would recommend for you to do, just to save time. But essentially what we did is we changed the input, which changes the output. And besides the range of motion, you may have also felt a little more present, maybe more in control, right? So that matters too. And key is here too, we didn't stretch, right? You might have gotten more range of motion without stretching. And that's not, and we're not fixing anything. Again, it's about the quality of input that your brain actually receives. And again, the better the information, the better the output. And that's the principle in general, that how the brain works, right? Better inputs drives better outputs. And it really matters what kind of inputs they are. Because the truth is, if you do the same exercise all the time, you're not changing the inputs and much, right? It's the same. There's a lack of relevance, a lack of novelty, and then at some point a lack of engagement. And without those, your brain stops investing energy into improving them. So that's why you decline them. This becomes even more important when we talk about decision making, because your brain is not just managing movement, it's managing your focus, your energy, your motion, your choices. And every decision has a cost, cognitive cost, which means the more decisions you make throughout the day, the more fatigue your system becomes. And high performers make a lot of decisions. So by the time they focus on their health, their system is already taxed, right? And a taxed system does not build capacity. It protects what it has. And that's why you can have a perfectly designed workout and still not get the results you expect, because your brain is not in a state to invest into growth. So it's in a state to conserve. It's trying to protect you. So what do? We don't just add more, we change how we engage. So let's try something else, right? Raise your hand right now and start just tapping each finger. I'm gonna go just through it. And if you wanted to, you can do a assessment first. But this one, I first want you to keep going like this. Good. Let's switch hands. Good. Switch hands again. Good. Now skip a finger. Choose which finger you skip. Excellent. Good. Now I would like you to, every time I say switch directions, you're going to switch directions. So, going to keep going. And whenever I switch, you switch, okay? Keep going back and forth. Same rhythm right now. Switch. 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 And relax. Good. So play around with that, right? Because the more novelty there is, the more we're challenging the brain. But you also may have noticed that your focus increases, your awareness sharpens, your energy shifts a little bit by concentrating, right? Because you just activated multiple systems at the same time: motor control, cognition, coordination, attention. And this is not just exercise, this is actually integration. And integration is what keeps the brain adaptable. And the brain stays young when it has to solve, not when it's repeating the same thing. So that's really where the difference is. And this is also where the identity shift happens, because if you still see yourself as someone who follows a routine, who will always be limited by the structure. But if you start seeing yourself as someone who adapts, who adjusts, who is flexible, you unlock something else. You become responsive, aware, capable in different environments, in different conditions, in different states. And that is really longevity. Not controlled performance, but adaptable performance. So let me share something else from my own experience. Early on, I believed more structure was the answer, right? More precision, more control, more discipline. And that works to a certain point. But over time, I saw something different, that people who stayed capable long-term were not the most rigid. They were the most adaptable. They adjusted daily without overthinking. They listened, they responded instead of forcing it. And I had to learn that the hard way too, because I like to kind of, this is my day I'm training and this is how I'm training, I'm gonna go for it. But it's really about learning how to listen, learning how to expand and not to narrow down. So let's do another fun exercise with this. So grab some object, nothing sharp, but I'm going to use my mouse. And all we're going to do is now drop and catch it, right? Before it hits the ground. So right now I'm just going to drop it. I have my hand already below and I'm catching it, right? And doing it again. Drop it, catch it. Drop it, catch it. Drop it, catch it. Good. Now you can also drop it and let it fall further, right? Good. Good. Now try to drop it, catch it with the same hand. Good. Drop it, decide last minute which hand you're going to use. Good. Now you can do that with a step, right? So it's an fairly simple, easy exercise, but it brings in a lot of novelty. Now you might think this is just reaction, but it's really engagement. It's also presence. It's adaptability, because your brain cannot predict exactly what will happen. So it stays active, and this is really also a form of play. So if you watch my other video about play, it's so important. It's a powerful input for longevity. Because it challenges prediction, forces adjustment, and keeps your system flexible. So play is not random, it's structured variability, and your brain needs that to stay adaptable. So when we talk about a daily practice, this is what we mean. Not adding more, but changing how you interact with what you already do. Like walking, for example, with more awareness, training, where you explore a little bit more, breaks where you can do some other quick little exercise like the one we just did. Decisions become more intentional, and that's how you build longevity, because now your system is constantly receiving relevant input, and that keeps your brain engaged. And when your brain stays engaged, it keeps investing in your capacity. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this. Longevity is not something you achieve, at some point in the future. It's something you practice every single day in how you move, how you think, how you respond, how you adapt. Because the moment your brain stops needing to adapt, that's the moment declines begins. And that's the moment you bring back variation, awareness, engagement, and you shift that trajectory again. So if you like this video, don't forget to share it with a loved one that you think might benefit from this. I constantly update new and upload new videos. So subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on that. And really what it is about is creating longevity utilizing a brain-based approach. I'm Heike Fallon. I hope you'll start investing in yourself. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.